An evil empire, a new dark Dredgen Guardian in Seoul, and a mysterious location. Today we have some stories and mysteries to dive into involving Destiny 2's Renegade expansion arriving later this year. Hints and secrets from the trailer, story elements you may have missed. Welcome Guardians, let's dive right in. So Destiny 2 Renegades is releasing December 2nd this year, and is going to be heavily inspired by Star Wars. Bungie saying that it is a Destiny story first, but they're leaning into the epic sci-fi elements that people love from Star Wars specifically. And personally, I think this style of storytelling, this lawless frontier, fits Destiny perfectly. We've seen it in the lore with heroic Guardian freelancers, in locations like the Tangled Shore. So today we're going to compare Destiny's similarities to some aspects of Star Wars and speculate on who we might meet, where we might be heading after Kepler this summer. So some people were worried about Star Wars and Destiny. I know I was at first, but as I looked into it more, I realized the bigger picture and what's actually going on here. The thing is though, Destiny has had Star Wars elements for a very long time. Now clearly Lucasfilms is giving them licensing for this, so there could be things like Han Solo's blaster in-game, but it might be called something completely different, like the 30th anniversary weapons were, and tied to Destiny lore and story on its own. Whenever something new is created, whatever it is, there's always inspiration from other things, movies, games, books. It's rarely ever super original.
The next class choice was the hunter, our bounty hunter, our explorer of the wilderness, our frontiersman. And even more exotic, the warlock, our space wizard.
Both franchises have chosen warriors who wield magic powers, the Force, light and darkness, each channeling them to hone their own craft. And on top of that, the journey of good versus evil is pretty clear when it comes to both sides. Then you can take a dive even deeper and look at, say, characters. Where Star Wars has Jabba the Hutt, Destiny has the Spider. They're literally the same thing. Spider has his own criminal underworld with spies and things like that, and even offered bounties at one point for the Guardians to go out and kill targets.
Despite our clear, mutually aligned interests, I'm sorry, but I can't help but feel like it is I who will come up short. It's true. I know where Aldrin and his barren scheme. You go, scratch your itch, then we can just say, you owe me. Do we have a deal?
There's mentor figures like Obi-Wan, Yoda, Exo-Stranger, Osiris. Now some of those are way cooler than others, but they serve the same purpose. Both have tons of alien species, spaceships, mega spaceships that can destroy entire solar systems. So you get the point by now. This collab inspiration story-wise seems like a perfect fit. I'm sure they'll have Star Wars cosmetics for fashion purposes and maybe even weapons like the 30th anniversary, but for the lore this could be great. And speaking of that lore, let's talk about what we know and what could happen. All we have so far is some images of the Renegades cover art, a cinematic teaser trailer, and some basic story info. Found on the timeline in-game, you can see this text. Dive into the criminal underworld and take down an evil empire. Venture into a lawless frontier and reveal deeper mysteries about a new Dredgen in Seoul. Build your power, credits, and notoriety. So my first question is this connected to the Edge of Fate, continuing that story? We know our first new DLC in this Fate saga has us dealing with the Nine to some extent. Renegades may too, but it kind of seems like its own story, right? But Renegades, they say, involves a new Dredgen, which could be a new evil leader, possibly in a Anakin or Vader-like role. There's an evil empire and a lawless frontier, possible new location. Now we don't have much, but I get Shadows of Yore vibes right away given the Dredgen title, and also Cabal Empire. You'll see some evidence of this in a bit. The Shadows and Dredgens have been around for a while. We've had seasons about them in the past. Unfortunately, they're vaulted now. But let's discuss how this whole Dredgen thing began in the first place. It all started with a guardian named Rezel Azir, who rose during the Dark Age and was actually one of humanity's greatest defenders at the time. He was seen as a hero by many, as he protected these small outposts and camps that first would pop up beneath the alien traveler. He would have a change occur one day though, when he ventured to the moon following dark visions and desire. He found the Hive, beginning his descent into darkness, which corrupted his light and changed his rose hand cannon into a Hive weapon of sorrow called Thorn. He parted ways with his ghost on Mars and took up the name Dredgen Yor, beginning a campaign of destruction, killing civilians, guardians, and really anything. This included the settlement of Palamon, where the young Shin Malphur lived. In Palamon, Shin had a mentor called Jaren Ward, and along with most of the other civilians here, he perished at the hands of Yor himself. Taking up Jaren Ward's ghost, Shin Malphur would begin his journey of revenge to hunt down and kill Yor, and he eventually did. Although Yor was dead, his ghost still lives on, and is actually still close to Shin to this day, believe it or not, who still likely hunts down these guardians of darkness. Shin said this: "Rose was never any more special than any other weapon of its time. It didn't fire faster or hit harder. Its power came from the hands that held it. Azir was a gifted destroyer, a rare and mighty defender. And much like far older legends, his deeds and manner, his weapons and journeys have taken on lives of their own. So too, in time, will yours." I don't know that he ever reflected on his legacy. Truth told, I'd imagine he never considered his own death until after becoming the other, until after becoming Yor. I often wonder if he was aware of the monster he began, or whether even in that twisted, dark, nightmarish form, he still saw himself as the noble warrior, the defending knight giving all of himself to protect his crumbling castle. It's possible Vincent knows, though I would never ask him. There is still a soft spot there, a pained longing for the friend he'd lost. My point is, sometimes we are forced to become other as we make our way along our individual roads. You, however, have been true to yourself at every turn, always facing forward, always accepting the burden of impossible odds. Not because of glory, but because of necessity. A thing needed doing that we may all live to see another day, and so you did. Time and again, your legend already spreads. But what do you do next, as you conquer light and shadow, will set us all on our way toward a future where generations will be fueled by your righteous might. You are that bloom that will serve as inspiration for the stories used to bolster the courage of countless heroes to come. You are all I and untold others could never be. A beacon, a champion, a true and honored guardian. So technically Yor could come back, but his ghost witnessed the horrible things he did in the past and isn't going to let that happen unless Bungie changes their mind. Not long after his death though, a group called the Shadows of Yor would form, to carry on his legacy of Guardian darkness. Drifter himself actually belonged to his group for a time under the name of Dredgen Hope. Malphur has hunted down some of these shadows and even killed them like Callum's soul, but as far as we know, the group still exists.
I know you all keep tabs on me.
Yeah, you've been straying. You don't even use his name no more.
Well, that's why I'm still breathing, brother.
And in Renegades here, it says we encounter a new Dredgen. In the cinematic trailer, we see 3 Guardians boarding a ship and encountering one lone Guardian, who might be this Dredgen. I'm not sure what type of ship this is. The design could be a little different given it's a cinematic trailer, but it could be a Cabal vessel. On the ground, we see a Cabal slug rifle, so it seems they are going to be involved. Again, possibly this new evil empire. It's kind of hard to tell what class the Guardian is in the distance. To me, this looks like a warlock with the gauntlets and maybe a bond on their left arm. Their weapon too glows green, so is that a connection to Weapons of Sorrow and Dredgens of the past, or just a cool design? The definition of renegade is a person who deserts and betrays an organization, country, or set of principles. So the question is, betraying who? The Dredgen? The Cabal? I guess we'll find out. The destination appears to be a desert environment. Sparrows glide through toward an outpost in the distance, which does look much like Tatooine, but could also be Cabal-related architecture in this universe. We don't see any moons or planets in the sky, just a sun, so I guess this could be anywhere. Maybe it's on Earth or some other planetoid. Again, it's a cinematic, but from the description we know this takes place in Sol 2. So what we have is this Dredgen. They could be evil or ally, but given the past of this group, enemy seems likely. A new empire, possibly belonging to the Cabal, also rises. Is the Dredgen a part of them? The Cabal part also does make me wonder, because we know about Kaido's Cabal, and previously the Red Legion and whatever Cabal were under Emperor Callus. So either these are outcasts from those group, or others existed and they now arrive in the system too. The codename for this DLC was Behemoth previously, which did really also seem Cabal oriented, so I guess this story makes sense. The Mask of Fealty lore told us about a Cabal named Gar, who was ex-Legion and ex-Cabal entirely, who with 3 Guardians boarded a ship with some artifacts to go get rich somewhere else. They were basically renegades leaving everything behind, the Guardians leaving humanity in the Vanguard, and Gar leaving the Cabal. Alright, you dogs. Their grasp of Ularond is abysmal, so he speaks their tongue. You've done your service to your Vanguard. Leave war to the Hive Gods and those that feed them. He looks down at them, his new crew. 3 human, eager faces, 3 metal drones. They want to see the stars. They want a little taste of the better life. We've got ourselves a crew of 7 seasoned killers in a great big universe out there. Gar grunts. Let's go get rich. So that's just part of that card, and I'm not even sure if Gar's story is connected. It seems like he and his crew was heading out of the system when Renegades might still be in Seoul. But that's the only recent Cabal lore I know of, and it kind of fits this Renegade theme. Let me know if you know other Cabal stories from the last year in the comments down below. But anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video, a little intro into Renegades and what we know so far. If you'd like to see some more Destiny news, lore, and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.